All right, artists, today we're going to be making a paper full of patterns. Now, from the drive-thru, you're going to grab a big piece of white paper. The first thing you do is always the same. You grab a pencil and write your name, Mrs. C, and your class code. Flip it over, and on this side, you need to draw patterns. Now, we talked about patterns with color. We also know that patterns can be created with lines and with shapes. So you may use this Elements of Art packet to help you remember some different shapes or lines. And to start with, you need to draw 5 vertical lines dividing your paper. You are using oil pastels today to make a little bit of art magic. But first, 5 vertical lines. Vertical lines are tall like a building. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could use different colors. I used all purple. Next, what you need to do is use different colors, different lines, and different shapes to fill your paper with patterns. Since we just talked about vertical, I'm going to make horizontal rectangles or thick lines with green. My next color, I think, will be with blue. Ooh, going back to my green rectangles. I could even make a pattern with color with blue. Maybe I have a skinny blue line in between. So my pattern goes green, blue, green, blue, green, blue. That's a pattern with lines and colors. Next, I think I'll use orange, and this pattern will be spiral lines. I'm just going to fill this whole area with spiral lines. Some spirals that are small, some that are big. Do you notice how when I'm filling in each of these spaces in between my lines, I use the same patterns? Artists, I want you to do a similar thing. Next, I think I'll use some red zigzag lines. And I can make a pattern with color here too. I can have a red zigzag and then a yellow zigzag. Red zigzag, yellow zigzag. When I go to grab different colors or put them back, I see that they're all organized by color. So if I pick up a red oil pastel next, I'm going to make sure it goes back to the red oil pastel section. Next, I think I'll do pink wavy lines. You are going to fill your paper with lines or shape patterns first. Maybe a pattern that has shapes could be a pattern with triangles. All sorts of different triangles. I could change the color, I could change the size. Maybe some are big and some are small. Maybe some are empty and some are full. This pattern is made with different triangles. One last pattern. I think I'll do some polka dots. When your paper is filled with different patterns, your next step is you get to use some different some different watercolor paints to paint. As I open them up, I might think to myself, oh no, this one is missing colors. But I have a neighbor next to me, and my neighbor, of course, will let me share. And I also know about watercolors is even though there's some little stuff in the corners, that little stuff in the corners still works. So what I need to do is dip my brush in the water, wipe it on the lip, and swipe it in the paint. Dip, wipe, swipe. And I'm going to paint in each of my different patterns with a different color. Do you see the art magic that's happening? Now normally when I'm painting, I paint right over the top, but when I paint with this blue, the oil pastel pushes away the blue paint, and I still get to see my beautiful drawings underneath. Art magic. Artists, you are going to paint this whole paper with different colors. And as I switch to a different pattern, I would switch to a different color too. So as I move to this next pattern with the orange spirals, I think I'll have my brush jump, jump, jump in the bottom, wipe on the edge, and switch to a new color. When I have filled up my whole paper with patterns and oil pastels and watercolor paints, I'm going to carry it flat like a lunch tray to the drying rack. I can't wait to see how these patterned papers turn out.